Welcome everybody to another playthrough. I finished Final Fantasy II yesterday. It's time to start Final Fantasy III. So, this is the last of the Final Fantasy games that I'm probably going to do on my channel, at least for some time. Barring going into, say, the Final Fantasy remake, Final Fantasy VII Remake, or Final Fantasy 15. I mean, I've said my piece on 12, 13, 15 to an extent. 16 was okay. But they weren't my kinds of Final Fantasy games, so I've kept that in mind, I think. Fuck, not modernized. So, I have the... I have all the control settings set the way I want to. I'll get to the boosts in a minute. But Final Fantasy III. Let's actually go to this screen. It's a little less bright. 2 and 3, admittedly, were my most frustrating experiences, at least in the original games. I've said my piece about 12. I would say 12 is better than these two. But having experienced Final Fantasy II and what it provides in terms of quality of life improvements, it drastically changed the game and made it decent, if not fun, to play. Final Fantasy III is fun to play outright, except it's frustrating in its design choices most of the time. They've gotten rid of some of those design flaws, but they're still inherent in the game design, which we'll get to. It most has to do with the implementation of the job system, and they rely too heavily on, you should do these jobs right now, rather than Final Fantasy V, where you can pretty much beat the game however, within reason. There are certain optimal setups, but by and large, you can get through the game with anything. This game forces you, tunnels you in certain directions in certain places. Not all the time, but enough to be annoying. And then, the final dungeon is a piece of poo. It's 3 dungeons all the way, and 2 of them you have to do in pretty much one go, or you have to climb back up. What this game does, which the original did not, and the DS version did not do, save points! So yes, save anywhere, and quick save, and autosave every fucking floor should make this a less frustrating experience. That and rebalancing some of the job classes, making sure there's no penalties when you switch jobs, should make for an interesting experience. Now, does that not make it frustrating? I don't know. I would say the game is better than 2, and in some ways even better than 1, because of some of the conventions that has been created. But not gonna know until I actually play it. So, here we go. I'm gonna go with the Final Fantasy III character names in lieu of being interesting, because I'm not interesting. And then, I'm gonna, I think, I want it. I mean, I'm pretty sure they go down and then, I guess I'll find out, won't I? It won't be that big a deal. They're all named the same anyway. They don't have any particular quirks in this version. The DS version actually made them characters to an extent. But, they have names, I guess. But this is a lot like Final Fantasy I, where they don't have names. They don't really care. So you just do what you gotta do. And here we go. I'm gonna go by the color scheme. I'm gonna see if this is... Yeah, it goes on its own. So no narration from me. for the second game in a row. Boo. And so it shall begin. With us falling down a cave. Ah! Ow! It's like we fell through a sinkhole. Now what do we do? Are you sure this is a good idea? Maybe we can climb out. You wanted to go exploring. Don't be such a scaredy cat. Hey, quit squabbling, you two. We need to find a way out of here. Well, at least they can walk. Except for fighting! Ah. Well, I did at least get their colors right. Goblins! Can't do much except stab right now. At least we hope. But yes, they are onion kids or orphans. They completely suck. So, they suck a lot. But if they can hit, they can kill. Yay! Yay, a potion! What were those monsters doing here? We're in way over our heads, guys. Let's get out as fast as possible. Yay, I can move! Let me move. There. Okay, and we're done. There we go! Now information of the gameplay. Easy. But yes, they are Onion Knights. And this operates a lot like Final Fantasy I did. Though the MP charges, you get a shit ton more, so they're a lot more lenient with them. Biggest thing is the job system, which we'll get once we're out of here, but I'll worry about that in a minute. But my curiosity has to do with boosts. And this does not work the way Final Fantasy II did, because, obviously. But I'm not really going to change much, unless I have to. But, no encounters, as a toggle. So nice. Special encounters isn't mandatory boss fights or monsters in boxes, of course. But yay, being able to choose, especially certain dungeons later in the game, which are long and annoying. I'm looking at you, split enemy dungeon bullshit. Anyway, so experience. I can go up to 4%, or I can go up to 4 times, or I can go to 0 if I want to. I can get Gil all I want, all day. I'm not going to set Gil to 4 times like I usually do. Yet. I don't know. I'll set it to 2. That's probably fair. Because I've been setting it at 2 times. But everything does depend on how much I fight. Everything depends on how much I fight. The encounter rate in 2 was fucking terrible. It was made that way to combat the leveling quirks. But I don't like the fact that there were so many fights. Now, these dungeons are less annoying in this game, so there's that. Huh? What is it? Something strange about that rock. Now that you mention it. Look here, dummy. Another shield. So, much like everybody else, in Final Fantasy II, anybody can equip anything. For now. I do think the dungeons are better designed in this game than they were in the first 2. The first game had issues with, like, damage floors aplenty, and a lot of, like, stupid, unavoidable fights in chests, because that's how it was the first one. They didn't know how to do monsters in boxes, so they put them in tiles and made you step on them like assholes. And then stuff like Gurgu Volcano or Ice Cavern, where there's a lot of damage floors. 2 was just poorly designed because of the trap rooms and the stupid, the verticality of it all. So they had multiple exits to go multiple places to get stuff, but you had a shitty encounter rate, so you never knew where you were going, and the verticality of it meant you had choices! This one, at the very least, is a lot more straightforward. The dungeons are laid out pretty methodically, and that's kind of the tendency going forward. So they've got a couple of games down their pipeline. They know what kind of works and what kind of doesn't work, and they go forward with it, at least until 7, you know, because 7 obviously changed the dynamic, but the next 4 games, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6, all kind of operate in varying degrees the same way. Just changes in battle system and skill and, you know, all the cool fun stuff. You gotta remember, that stuff was done in, like, 5 years' time? Like, this was Final Fantasy 8, or this was 1998. Or 1988, excuse me. And then, like, 1990, 1991, 1992-ish, then 1994 for Final Fantasy 6. So it's like, did all that in the span of no time flat. It's almost crazy. And remember, these were released back in a time when games weren't like 5 to 7 year cycles of development, so we're lucky to get a game in 2 to 3 years. And again, all of these are different, of course, but it is fun to at least see the Pixel Remaster, you know, standardize these in a certain extent, you know, but update them to a playable sense, because they were not playable, mostly. I think the first one was good, but 2 and 3 were bad. And 4 was the one I tell people to start with 4 if they want a, like, old school experience, because it has a story and characters that are kind of neat. The first 3 games, not so much. But hey, that's what the Pixel Remaster's for, and we're fighting! Too bad we don't have stuff like Antarctic Wind. I'll just sit here and jam out to the music for a second. I do like the music in this game. Just love the beat. I'm gonna love jumping into any boss battle, because that opening bit is so nice. Yeah, that part. That's so cool. Anyway, got me some GP or gil. I'm not too worried about it. Hey, look, a teleporter. Oh, and we might want to get the crystal too. The crystal shines brightly. You 4 have been chosen. I give unto you the last of my light, and with it, the last hope of a fading world. As things stand, light will soon disappear and the balance of the world will be destroyed. Accept the light and whatever, because I didn't know you could pass dialogue by pressing a button. I pressed a different button. I pressed the trigger. You have been chosen to be the bearers of the final chance at hope. You cannot allow light to fade from the world. Ah, we got our jobs. So, I'm gonna do certain jobs. Most will make sense, some won't. I'm gonna go kind of funky with Ingus's ones, but hey, for the initial part of the game, stuff will make sense. Warrior, monk, white mage, black mage. Pretty straightforward, and it was my job party in the first game. 'Cause why not, bro? But it will change. I love this song. The only Pixel Remaster game I haven't played is 6. But the only reason I want to play 6 would be to do the opera scene, I think. I may play it again, but I've played the rest of these games via the Pixel Remaster. It's interesting. Anyway, let's go. Yay! Red Mage, you can sit on the bench. Gerbs! Let's get gerbs. Let's get gerbs. Let's do the thing. Monk. Double knives, double stab. Dad! Dang it. Over here. So yeah, 3 of these characters will stay the same throughout the entire game. Warrior will switch from Warrior to Knight, and then a Knight into Dark Knight, which will help me with the stupid bullshit dividing dungeons. Monk will stay the same, because he punches. It won't be as OP as in 1 or 2, but hey, it'll punch. White Mage, duh. You can't really win a RPG without a mage. You just can't. Unless you buy elixirs like I did in 2, which I almost never used. Okay, but Black Mage, he will be the one that switches, because he will be from Black Mage to Geomancer into Bard. Now, that sounds funky, but hear me out. I don't know about Geomancer, but I know about him in 5. But in this version of the Pixel Remaster, Bard is apparently broke as shit and is lovely. The first skill they get is like a free party heal for like 40%, and they can do it every turn. Right at the start of a turn. And then they get stuff like boosts and buffs and other cool stuff. And they can even like cause status effects to enemies. So I'm very curious. I'm actually going to run a Bard, and I want to see how this goes. That'd be kind of sweet. I'm going to hear this song. Give me a sec. I love the arranged soundtrack. It's so good. Take note of the design of the world, by the way. There's a reason. There's a reason it looks like that. I love the back part, the backing of this part. Oh yeah, Eternal Wind is good. I will say I think 3 soundtrack is better on the whole than 2. I think 1 is better, but that's because of stuff like Matoya's Cave and the battle themes, but 3 has its moments. Especially the boss fights, man. The boss fights are fucking fantastic. Anyway, let's stop lollygagging. So I gotta go to the Elder and talk to the Elder and do that. And oh, there's actually fights here too, I think. Or am I thinking of a different game? I'm not sure. Actually, no, it's a hidden door. Cool. Well, I'll do that in a minute. There's a lot of stuff I can get in here, but I'm gonna go to the Elder first. But I found a potion. Where's the Elder's house? Oh, usually they're in the middle of the place, not right at the beginning. Anyway. Yes, the spirits have told me exactly what befell you. Now go speak to Elder Topapa. I believe he'll have some words of wisdom. I know. To think you four would be chosen. Lunath, Raphia, Ark, and Ignis. You must understand that such a meeting was no mere chance. The crystal willed you to it. Such is its power. Your souls have been touched by the light. You cannot let that strength you've been granted go to waste. You must depart at once away and seal away the powers of darkness. I know they're not going to introduce every single person we talk to. Hooray! Revive! Alright. Alright. So. I'm not going to buy stuff just yet. There's things I want to do. This guy checked the door. I'm getting potions. I like that. Yeah. Ooh. Longsword, leather armor, a dagger, cure spell, and leather armor. Yay! I don't have to buy the spell. Love it. But yes, you still have to learn a spell to use it. Much like 1 and 2. I think 4. Yeah, 4 is the one where they don't force you to do it anymore, but you know. Oh boy, an antidote. Alright, so I think we're done here. I wanted to get through this initial town. There's not a whole lot here. But there is some stuff. Before I do any of that, I'm going to go here. Actually, let me check over. Okay, so yeah, the out of yeah, alright, so out of bounds is okay, never mind. I was worried there for a second, but no. But if we go back in here, this is something I didn't know until later. You can actually go back down in here. And get these treasures you missed. Don't go down, you're stuck doing the thing again. But hey, bronze bracers. And a long sword. I'm not going to use the nunchaku. I'm going to punch. I'm going to punch stuff. Sleep spell. Let me see what I could buy. I might not... Like, it's status effects in an RPG. I'm sure the usefulness is better than I think it is, but does anybody actually use stuff like sleep and silence against enemies, and particularly bosses? Because I don't know if I do. Also, yes, you can equip double weapons if you'd like. I'm gonna not do that. I should, just for sake of damage, but I also like not dying. No, I'm not using the Chaku, fuck you. Monks punch. That's what they do. Got bronze bracers. Okay, he can double stab. That's hilarious. Because apparently she can use rods or staves, but poisoner. Yes, much better. This one I like. I'm curious if I'm going to sell sleep. How much do I get? Not a lot. I can always get it back, you know. But you only have slots for 3 spells, much like Final Fantasy 1, so I don't want to overdo it. I'm probably not gonna do it, so I know punching works better, so wait. Oh yeah, I'm not using 2 leather shields. Never mind. Okay, so I can sell you. And they gave me long swords for days, I guess. Cool. Yeah, she can't use the knives. That's unfortunate. I've heard Ranger is also pretty good in this game. But that's not what I chose to do, so such is life. But anyway, we're destined for ruin. Yes. Yes, Cure is great. The Susune Castle. Saving the world? Aren't you getting a little old for make-believe? No! It's rude. Very rude, lady. Anyway, I'll stop here. Actually, no. Let me get into a fight with these new characters. Because why not? Come on. Come on. Come on, game. There you go. Okay, the encounter rate is not nearly as bad. Okay. Ow. Ow. I thwacked. I punched. Yeah! Simple stuff. Love it. And I leveled. Go me. But yes, as you can imagine, traditional levels, unlike the last game. So we're not going to need to fuss work with stats and changes and spells and all that junk. And it's a more traditional experience. The job system does allow for some versatility, but by and large, what you see in a job class is what you get. Speaking of what you see is what you get, I'm calling it an episode today. Because I started Final Fantasy 3, and I think I will enjoy it. Because I can control my narrative. Why did I reference that? I don't know. Anyway, I can control the way I want to play a game. That's what I meant. But yes, I have a new game. And I'm going to be playing a new game immediately following this one, Chameleon. So I'm going to take a break. And I will see you next time.